Broadcasting from Hollywood, California. It's Grant's Rants, Hollywood Talk.
Danielle Staub gives an interesting interview on Wendy Williams. We give our quick takes on Iggy Azelea, Mike the Situation, and Kanye West. And my co-host Ali Levine and I debate the relevancy of Lisa Vanderpump. Later, we criticize fashion looks from the week. That and some inside scoop right here. Let the ranting begin. I am joined by Ali Levine, a TV personality from Bravo's Stripped, a celebrity stylist, and a fashion expert. Welcome to the Rants.
Hey, Grant. Thanks for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. I love your little oasis. I was saying before we started podcasting that I feel like I'm like in my own little zone. Like, this is so nice. I just love all the decor and the little like safari feel. It's like modern yet like a little bit contemporary and classic. I just love the details.
Thank you. Yes, I love when people get the vibe of the space.
Yes, I love it. I'm like, can I like take a little snoozy here? Like, get away from my crazy house?
I took a nap today, which I rarely do, and I have to say it was lovely.
I bet.
It was really nice.
I mean, that couch looks nice. The bed looks like everything just looks like it is like a little cozy oasis. And the pool outside. I love it.
Thank you. I want to mention that I was on your podcast, Things We're Too Lazy to Blog About with Amanda
Yes, I am
Lauren.
a podcaster with my co-host Amanda Lauren. We loved having you, and I believe that episode's coming out this week. So make sure, you guys are staying tuned. It was such a good episode. We talked about a lot of good stuff.
Oh, well, I'll definitely put it on my social media so
Yes.
those who are curious to check it out. And we've had Amanda on this show, and now it's your turn.
Yes, and it's my turn.
Yeah, so it's a great thing. So I can't wait to talk about these things with you.
I'm so excited.
Of course, being a fashion expert, we're going to get your take on some photos and things that have happened over the last week from some Bravo celebrities. We're going to describe the looks to the listener, and then we're going to weigh in.
Oh, we talking some faux pas?
Yes. So we'll do that and more coming up. But first, Danielle Staub. She was on Wendy Williams this week. And I have to say, this is a highlight for me. She knows how to play for the cameras. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Does she?
I rarely see, maybe this is a season 10 thing with Wendy, but I don't normally see the people walk out to like top 40 hits. But for whatever reason, she was like strutting herself out to New Rules by Dua Lipa.
Totally.
And I'm like, how did this happen? Because usually it's just the theme song.
Right, the theme song, for sure.
But I was like, okay, so someone's really pushing it. And I'm glad. She came out, and I looked at the comments on the YouTube video, and everything was pretty positive.
I thought so. I was surprised, to be honest. Like, I thought, for the most part of what I saw, even on like Instagram and things that people commented, it really was more positive than negative.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised too, because I thought she had a lot of haters. That people
of course. I thought the same thing. I'm like, here come the trolls. But there really wasn't that much trolling.
She claims that she's still best friends with Teresa, and that Teresa and Joe are still in love, that she's witnessed phone calls. I'm rolling my eyes and saying this because I'm like, it's like, it sounds like she's like in the bed with them practically.
Totally.
Like, I don't believe that she's that close.
Yeah, I mean, so without saying too much, I have some sources through Bravo. And I would say that Teresa and Joe are in a good place right now from what they've been going through. And then from what I've heard from people that are close to them, that work with them in the industry that, we're all in, I've heard that they, went through some rough stuff, but from going through what they're going through right now and what her husband's going through, they have gotten stronger, and that apparently that's come across to all their friends. And from what I've heard from people that work with Danielle and Teresa, I've heard that they both, I guess, have gotten closer. I don't know if I would call them best friends. Like, I feel like that's just like for camera.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But Danielle claims they're best friends.
Right, exactly. I don't know personally if Teresa would say the same, but I do think that they've gotten closer, and they're definitely closer than they ever were. So maybe that's why she uses quote unquote best friends.
Well, that's interesting to me, and I like that. I like hearing some inside dirt because Danielle is a little bit of a spin doctor. I feel like when it comes to getting things out there,
of course.
And,
I mean, she's smart.
Yeah, she knows how to play the game.
Got to give it to her.
Danielle said that she's the reason for the trailer, which I'm like, okay. And we broke it down last week on this show. I broke it down with Anthony Lario. So if anyone wants to hear my take on that trailer, listen to the previous episode here, and you'll get my thoughts. So she's been engaged now 20 times. I thought it was 21.
God, did you fall over when you heard that? Because I don't know why, but I did not, in my mind, I knew it was a lot, but I did not know it was 20 times.
I thought it was 21 because on this show 2 years ago, I said, oh, congratulations, she's engaged again. And then it ended, and then she got with the current guy that she married. So maybe that didn't count. But yeah, I remember that was maybe it was like a radar online thing,
right.
Maybe not real, is what I'm saying. But no, so she's now saying it's 20. So, okay, I'm going to just dial one back for her. I mean, who's counting?
Who's counting?
So, and then, she said to the audience, she didn't look at Wendy, but she said, if it's broken, it's just broken. You can't fix it.
Oh, yeah, she did say that.
And that's interesting because there's been so much talk about Wendy and her marriage being broken and that her husband has spent money on some side chick and bought her a house somewhere in New Jersey. And people have been following these trails of crumbs to something extracurricular, allegedly. But Wendy will never talk about it, but yet she's so quick to judge others.
Yeah.
And,
Isn't that kind of how Wendy is, though?
Yeah. I don't know why Wendy would bother to put up with that, though. What does she need? What would she have to gain? I mean, I know that he's the manager and all that, but
I know. I don't know. I feel like he's got to just be that good in bed, or at least I would hope that for her. I mean, personally, for me, luckily I have a good husband. He knows, or I kick his ass to the curb in 2 seconds. But I feel like I just wouldn't put up with that. I could barely put up with the fact when my husband just does something stupid. So if someone truly, I love him to death, but and he knows this, if I can say it, and people saw a lot of it on Bravo Strip, but if Justin does something I don't like he knows right away, and there is no hiding it. It's either on my face or in my mannerisms or both. And he's just oh, I'm already in the doghouse. What do I do to get back out? So he just knows. So Wendy's such a boss babe and a queen. I don't know how she puts up with any of that, to be honest. I
don't know. Even the rumors.
It's gotta be good sex. You would hope, right? What else would it be? She's got everything else.
She's got everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why she would put up with it. Anyway, Danielle says that she's only a friend and that she would love to know the answer as to why that is. Again, I don't know. They talked about Margaret. I'm always excited for Danielle, and that interview, it was 9.5 minutes. It was perfect for me.
Totally.
It was perfect for me. I need to see more of her. Other than that, that's the only interest that I have with Real Housewives of New Jersey.
The new people, they're just not showing up.
Yeah, they've had a lot of trouble with that show.
For a
while. I'm not surprised they brought it back, but I am surprised they haven't made her full time. I mean, there must be something that she wants in her contract or opposite.
Oh, I'm sure there's something going on. Listen, Bravo's not stupid, and if they could have her fully, I'm sure they would. So I'm sure something's going on.
I think it's something behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
I really do.
Oh yeah.
Well, anyway, you can get Real Housewives in New Jersey coming back. I believe it's November 7th.
Yes,
on
November
Bravo.
7th. Yep.
Let's do some Hollywood quick take talk here. There's a couple different things that don't really warrant a full topic. I've never done this on this show before, but stuff that I would like to cover nonetheless, just to get your take, and I'll give my take, and we'll just kind of buzz through it.
I like the name of it.
Yeah, it made it up right now.
Perfect. Amazing.
Iggy Azelea, her Bad Girls tour is canceled. However, 4 cities remain. Originally, it was supposed to be a 21-city tour. This happened before with that Great Escape tour in 2015, and I'm surprised the articles didn't allude to this. We already went through this in 2015.
Yeah.
But I did some digging, and I was like, how long ago was this? Her career, first of all, is not that long, and this was 3 years ago. So she, I don't get it. I must be ticket sales, because what's the common denominator?
I was thinking the same thing. Honestly, I mean, no shade to Iggy Azalea, but does she excite you? Because she does not excite me. So, I mean,
have you seen the price of tickets lately in general?
I know.
I'm not paying that much for her.
No, not at all. Who wants to spend that kind of cash? You're I'm trying to save up for something in my life, and also I feel like music a long time ago to me used to be such like, okay, I'm going to take it real like way back to the 90s, but like I loved Usher, right? And he was always all about music and like it being a universal language. So his tickets were never like insane, even when he was like as hot to trot as he was. So I feel like a lot of artists sometimes lose sight in the fact that like they have fans and they just think, oh, they're just going to pay it just to come see me. And it's like, well, no, if they can't afford it or they really can't figure it out in their budget, they're just not going to. Yeah. We're not all just rolling in dough over here. It must be nice, you know? So, I mean, especially like me, like being a new mom, like I'm balling on a budget, you know? Yeah. So it's like, I mean, you kind of have to look at things and go, okay, well, I would love to go to that show, but I really can't afford to spend that. Or I don't know. I feel like these artists sometimes, listen, don't get me wrong. I love music. I don't really love Iggy, but I love music. But I feel like sometimes these artists get like wrapped up and then they don't actually look at the fact that these people like built them and made their careers and are following them. So it's like, that's why then maybe their tours, like you said, aren't doing so well and all of a sudden then they have to scale back to a few cities.
Here's my take. I don't think she can fill like a stadium. Like she's not a Staples Center artist. She's not like a Taylor Swift.
True. Yeah.
You know, I look at someone like Lauryn Hill who performs at the Hollywood Bowl. Like that's a good venue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Perhaps a mid to large venue is best for her. I don't know if she has the clout to be able to fill stadiums around the United States in 21 cities.
This is true.
So maybe she's more of if she wants to be in those places, maybe she's more of an opening act.
Oops.
But I mean, I just don't know. I like her, but I mean, I like 3 songs.
That's what I was gonna say. I know 2 of her songs. Like, am I totally out of the loop? I really can't.
And it's all her early music. So to me, anything she's done post 2017 is like really not relevant to me.
Totally.
So, and I actually really like her. It's just not in my universe, and I wouldn't bother to pay. The next thing on this list, Mike the Situation is sentenced to 8 months in jail. He pled guilty to tax evasion. And what do we think? Is he going to do all 6 months, or is this going to be like, you know, he'll be in jail for like 72 hours?
You know, it's funny because I was really following this when this all came about because I was like, oh, here we go. Another person is going to get right off. Nothing's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. But I tell you what, they're taking it pretty seriously. I've heard through the grapevine that they are talking about, you know, more filming in the future, of course, with the, you know, Jersey Shore crew, and that they are going to take a hiatus to wait for Mike to get out. So I don't, you know, I've only heard that a little bit through the grapevine of reality television, so I don't know how fully true it is, but in my opinion, I do think they're going to at least make him serve 6 months, if not his full, you know, 6 to 8. Yeah. I feel like maybe, because especially he pled guilty, I heard he has really made like amends. I've heard like his, you know, fiance is like being really supportive about it and, you know, just waiting for him to be done so they can get married. So I feel like, I don't know, like he's kind of put it out there. He's also put it out on social that like he's sorry and he's looking forward to being done with this and moving forward. Right. So I feel like he's kind of already putting it out there to let people know, like, I'm going to disappear for a hot minute. Don't forget me. Like, I'm the situation. I'm in a situation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's been in one for a while.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't care for that show. He is all right. He seems.
Oh my God, my husband and I, like, this is so terrible to admit as new parents, but that's like our guilty pleasure. Like, we've been watching the Jersey Shore Vacation, and we just like piss our pants. Like, we just think it's so ridiculously funny. It's terrible, but it's ridiculously funny.
You know, I appreciate his like active contrition, I guess, like if you will. But as far as like, you know, I think it's a great storyline. Can't promise that I'll be watching. I don't really watch anything on MTV at the moment anyway, so that's my defense. Like, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm happy for him.
I'll watch it
if it all works out. Yeah, let me know. I'll watch the clips. I did watch the first episode of the Jersey Shore Family Vacation, and I felt like that was enough of a catch up for me.
There you go.
I was like, okay, got it. Third on this list, Kanye West. At this time, everyone knows that he had like a huge rant after SNL. He was on the season premiere. But then this last weekend, Pete Davidson was on. He had like a segment on Weekend Update. He talked about the whole scenario. They showed like a little like behind the scenes clip. And, you know, basically like Page Six said that Pete Davidson rips into Kanye West, or maybe it was Daily Mail, one of the two. It doesn't matter. And then, And I obviously, so I read that article after I watched it. I don't think he ripped into him, but what he did say was like, dude, take your medication. Like, we know you're off your meds. That's not something that you should be promoting. Like, we wouldn't want like a surgeon going in and being like, guess what, guys, I'm off my meds. Like, sometimes you have to take care of yourself. And that's kind of what he said. And of course, it was humorous and direct. And I totally agree that the MAGA hat is extremely offensive. I think it's just not correct to wear that type of an environment. And that's my take. Kanye, get back on the medication. I agree with Pete.
I would have to say I'm not like heavily political. So I, followed it, but didn't really follow it. I would just say, teach his own. Kanye probably should have been on medication a long while ago.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's always, done his own beat to his own drum. I mean, honestly, I'm still shocked that he's still married to Kim. Like, they're beyond opposite and like so far spectrums. It's unreal. I mean, my husband and I are opposite, but like they are like extreme opposite. So that's kind of my take on that.
It is kind of, I never talk about the Kardashians in this show because I just can't. But
I don't blame you.
And when this show started, when it was like prime, and that was everything. If you were on the homepage of E, 11 out of the 12 stories were Kim.
Yep.
So I've always tried to steer clear and give people an alternative.
Sure.
But that being said, like, I've never had this conversation, but I really do kind of find it fascinating that they are still together.
Oh, yeah. It is completely fascinating. I mean, and that's what I mean. I just feel like, I'm going to throw a little shade at the Kardashians because whatever. But I also would be on medication if I was with Kim or any of them for that matter. I feel like, I don't watch them anymore. I cannot. But what I hear and what I read and what I see, I'm just like, yeah, he's got his own shit too, but like, she has to make him like batshit crazy, right?
I have no opinion. Like, I'm like done with them. Like, the same thing with Kris Jenner. It's like, I just like reject them from my life. Like, I don't even really have a view because they're just like, I choose to make them not part of my existence.
I don't blame you. I just kind of feel like, you can keep saying, oh, they're living their best life. Oh, they did this. Oh, they did that. But like, at the end of the day, everyone is so sick of them. Like, everyone you talk to, even the people who love them are just like, yeah, okay. Like, everyone's just done. It's like, when are they going to be done, Eve? Yeah. When is it going to be over? It's just,
I'm good.
It's
I've
interesting. Yeah.
This has been the Hollywood Quick Take Talk, or whatever I call it, this segment. Guys, let's take a look at some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills news. It's been in the press a lot lately. Rumors, Instagram posts, blogs about Lisa Vanderpump reportedly isolating herself from the cast. And recently she said in an interview, oh, everything comes to an end at some point, which is just like an ominous, like, this is a soundbite. We know this bitch is under contract and she's expected to be on the show.
So I am going to be very biased because I love Lisa to death. I have styled her numerous times. She is the ultimate boss babe and queen. So you're going to get a very biased opinion from me.
And I'm very going to be the opposite way. So it will be great.
I've worked with her and been around her for several photo shoots and red carpets. I also know how Bravo rolls. And we're all not stupid. Everyone's in contract and all that good stuff. But listen, Lisa is not stupid and she knows what a powerhouse she is. And she also knows that she's kind of built that show. And they use her house quite often, especially like in the beginning and all of that. And if she left, honestly, I truly believe Real Housewives of Beverly Hills would fall hard. So, does she, of course, maybe test the waters a little bit? Sure. But I think we all know who the queen is, and she ain't going anywhere.
It's hard for me to respond. Look, here's the thing. Like, I believe it's an ensemble show. People have said this. With her, like, I think she holds the show hostage personally, but I know that I'm in the minority when it comes to downplaying her importance on the show. Like, people really do like look up to her and she's the money and all that. Personally, I have no interest in her. Couldn't care less if she left the show. I prefer it, but I know that she holds a lot of power there and she is that highest paid, or she was.
Well, and look at the storylines, like, not to cut you off, but she like most of the show ends up going back to her storylines because she has the strongest. Well, yeah, recently because they always have to mix things up because people get bored. But I feel like if you look at the overall seasons, she's held most of the storylines, and it's exactly because of what you said.
But don't you feel like she's held back her personal life and her stories? We're just seeing whatever business she wants to make money off of.
I don't know. I think that she is a smart woman, and I think she laid her boundaries in the beginning when she started, and I think she knew what she was willing to show and not show. And listen, yes, of course, Bravo's filming all the time. Yes, of course, they're always around. But at the end of the day, when you sign a contract and you're a part of a show, you kind of decide what you're going to give and what you're not going to give until, of course, a point comes where they may say, we need more or we want to show more or whatever. But then the day, it really is your decision, which is why you have seen a lot of other housewives step back because they don't want to give that next part of them. And so, honestly, I kind of respect her for not always wanting the full family thing out there, not always wanting to show everything. She also has, spin-off Vanderpump Rules. They basically show so much with that as well. So she kind of has a lot going on.
She's got enough. Well, she's saying here, she's like, everything comes to an end at some point, and I'm kind of thinking like, use this time now. I mean, I've been thoroughly unimpressed. I know people have been frustrated with her over the last 2 seasons. I mean, yeah, things do come to an end, and sometimes you overstay. I mean, maybe I'm being too hard on Lisa. I mean, I don't think she should just bow out of the show. She has enough. But I have to blame, Bravo as well. I mean, they're the ones who are asking her to come back. I don't think she's sending them letters in the mail making this request. So, maybe I got to be fair to both ends. But, this is why the production company and people who are getting paid to cast these shows, need to keep working a little harder because, if not, we're stuck having to make the same asks, and it's tired for everybody.
She's done a lot. And I mean, I know for a fact that she is just tired in general because she runs so many restaurants and she does so many things. And let me tell you, like, personally from working with her, like when she works on a magazine shoot or she does something, she doesn't just stand there and be the talent. Like, that's why I think I'm so impressed with her. She jumps in and like, oh, well, let me help you lay this out. Like how you are so particular about how you want things to be laid out with decor and you like looking at those things and it's really important to you. She's the same way. Like her layouts of her food needs to be the way it wants to be. If it's not, she'll jump in and cook and help and put it together. So that being said, yes, I think she is probably tired from doing everything because she actually gets her hands dirty.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other housewives just don't. That's where I'll leave it. So,
moving on.
Yeah.
Whatever. That being said, I will never knock her for her position on the show, how she started it. Like, I don't want her on the show. Don't get me wrong. I'm done with her on the show. But like, I respect that she was an original and that she brought a certain like income bracket and lifestyle to the show. She was fun. And now I think like many, and this isn't necessarily just a knock on her, but a lot of originals, it just becomes a job.
Well, yeah, it becomes a job and it becomes tiresome, right? I mean, it's like same with like, I mean, listen, I love Vanderpump Rules and not saying they should be off tomorrow, but like, how many more seasons are you going to give them as well? Like, are we going to watch each Katie and Tom have a baby and then in their house and then what they're going to go through and then Sheena get married again and like, and around in time they finally get married. Like, how many more storylines are going to play out before it becomes tiresome? Right. But I mean, hey, listen, everyone's still watching. Ratings are still high for Beverly Hills and Vanderpump Rules, so they're going to keep it moving.
That's what I can't understand with Bravo. We were talking about this on this podcast with the Watch What Crappens guys. Is like the ratings don't match like with what people are talking about.
I love Watch What Crappens. That's such a good podcast.
the numbers for these housewives, like Beverly Hills holds, but yet it's like the most boring one, and I think it's this laziest one. So for me, it's like, how much longer we get out of her? You're not enjoying it. It's just a job. Like, let somebody else do it.
But do you think someone else could hold her place?
Well, just I don't think anyone has to replace her as much as just like reinvent. Like, just get somebody else in there. And of course, I want to know if people are going to think about this because I put this out on Twitter. Tori Spelling. How do people feel? People are either all for it or totally against it, and there's no one in the middle.
No, it is no one in the middle. It's kind of like our politics nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, no shade to Tori as a person because I have experienced her. I have been around her. She has supported my jewelry line at a FabFitFun event. We've been pictured together. We've spent time together. She's a really nice person. Not right for House of the Beverly Hills. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. Well, she said it in some quote. She's like, I'm OG Beverly Hills, but I've never been asked. And it's true. Like, she is like an original to Beverly Hills. I mean, she was on the show.
Right. For sure.
But when it comes to...
But she lives in the Valley.
Yeah. When it comes to Housewives, she lives in the Valley. She doesn't have a lot of money and the lifestyle that would be comparable with others. But, you know, I mean, neither is Teddy Mellencamp, in my opinion. I think it's severely miscast. I would much rather watch Tori and Dean's antics than watch Teddy.
Would you? They're kind of a disaster.
They are awful. But at least, like, here's the thing. It's not WeTV because at least it'll be watered down.
True.
We get to see some other people. Like, I can't sit through, 42 minutes of Tori and Dean crying.
Yes.
But I can sit through maybe 4.5 minutes.
Give me the clip version.
Yeah. As long as there's, like, a healthy balance. I need a healthy balance.
Totally.
So, I don't know. I mean, I really want to see what Tori would do on that show. And I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
And so this Twitter followers were, it did pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I wonder.
Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking about celebrity looks from the last week, seeing, what we think, if we give our approval or disapproval. And then we're going to talk more with Ali. I want to talk more about the celebrity styling. She mentioned the jewelry that she's been working on and more. So stick around. We'll be back with more rants. Now this. This portion provided by Recklist.com. Recklist includes recommendations for TV and film from your friends, including watch lists and personalized information all in one place. If you're sick of scrolling through endless amounts of film and TV options, Recklist is what you need in this on-demand streaming culture that we live in. Recklist helps personalize and streamline your viewing experience by providing a place to discover new titles, share movie and show recommendations with friends, and store everything you want. This is a way for you to find those shows that are under the radar that you know are good. It's a fun, interactive platform for everyone. And if you're like me, you can never remember what series is coming back this week and what's good that everyone's talking about. Head on over to recklist.com/GrantsRants to solve your TV viewing problems. Recklist.com. Recommendations from the people that know you best.
You're listening to Grant's Rants. Subscribe and spread the word. There are a lot more rants to come. Listen anytime on all major podcasting platforms. And now, back to the show.
And we're back talking with Ali Levine, once again a celebrity stylist and a fashion expert. So, of course, we're going to have to take a look at some looks and some fashions and give some views. Now, look, nothing qualifies me for this segment. I'm just going to
I'm excited to hear your rant, though.
I'll just give like my honest opinion of what I would or wouldn't do. But I want to hear what you have to say. So let's start off. The Jersey Shore people, everyone except Mike, standing outside the courthouse, there to support him on his sentencing. So everyone's in a collective shade of black or dark gray.
Yes, they are.
Showing solidarity.
They're very, like, neutral, monochromatic, keeping it chill, which is not like them.
Understated Snooki, not really.
Yeah, right? Totally. Although she, of course, had to wear the leopard booties, so she didn't go that understated.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and same with Ronnie. He's like, got a smize on and has his red kicks or something sneaker wise.
Yeah, and he has a
red orange.
Yeah, it looks like he has a touch of like fatigue.
Yeah,
like
and the fatigue pocket on his little black shirt. Yeah. And I mean, even Jenny, JWoww, she's got it looks like a lace ensemble of some sort or a bra or something. I can't really tell. It's only peeking through the black blazer, but it's funny because it's like their idea of trying to be court jail appropriate or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And, court chic. I don't know, but I mean, it's still,
I like that.
It's still no, I mean, even Dina, it's like she's wearing black, but then she kind of has this.
I forget who that is, Dina.
Yeah,
I didn't watch that far.
Yeah,
I know who she is, but I don't.
You don't. I get it. You don't really need to. But
who's the other one? The one that I liked the most was in the polo.
Vinny?
Vinny, yeah.
Vinny.
I think he looks nice.
Vinny looks nice. Vinny always, I feel like, even for the show, as trashy as they can dress, Vinny always somehow brings it together to be a little bit classic.
Yeah.
But I think that comes from his old school family, mentality and how they are and how they raised him just from what you see.
And he has a good build too.
Yes,
so he can
does.
fill out
he
clothes.
Definitely does.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's take a look at the second look here. The second look is totally different. Mama D from the Real Housewives of Dallas.
Oh.
And this is her.
God, I forgot about Dallas.
This is her confessional look. This woman comes from a lot of money. She's, definitely money well spent as far as plastic surgery goes. So the confessional look, she's in like a fuchsia pink. How would you describe that?
Yeah, she's in, it's kind of fuchsia. It's almost crossing over to like a Pepto-Bismol ad. I
think it's like a Barbie pink.
Yeah, it's kind of close to a Barbie pink. I think what I'm really hating on is the fact that she matched the earrings to it. I totally girls, guys, I totally get the whole I want to match my accessories to the look, and that's like a trend now. But sometimes it's just so overkill for me. Sometimes it works and it's great. Other times like this, I kind of feel like, all right, you got, you have the high neckline with the collar.
The high neckline is my problem.
Yeah, the high neckline's first off terrible, but then you add to terrible because you add these long earrings that are basically look like now they're attached to the high collar, and it looks like it could just be one piece, and it's just a total faux pas for me.
Good. All right. No, I like it. I like you have an opinion. What about the brooch, an age-appropriate brooch on the looks like the left shoulder?
Yeah, I would say that's the only good thing she's got going on there.
Well, Mama D, you didn't pass. Sorry. On to the next. I've never talked about Below Deck on this show. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Oh, I love Below Deck.
Yeah, I wish I could get into it. I've tried.
Okay.
But Kate Chastain, she caught my attention this week. And I was like, oh, who's that? And I was like, damn, she looks good. The more I looked, I attribute the new look, I guess, to yards of hair. She's got a lot of hair going on. But
She has a lot of hair going on.
This is her Watch What Happens Live appearance. She has a bra hanging out, or is that a camisole, or what is that?
Yeah, so it looks like she's got a little bra / bralette action going on. That's kind of like the thing right now. I'm not against the bralette. I might be hating on it a little bit just because I'm always rocking a nursing bra these days, but they are cute still. But I don't mind it with this because it is a more simple sheer black lace, and then she is wearing the black and white monochromatic. So at least she's kind of keeping within tones, and it kind of works. Sometimes it drives me crazy when I watch What Happened Live and I see so many of these women wearing a bralette, and it literally looks like they just wore it just to bring sex appeal to their boobs. And I'm like, we know you have a chest. Okay, we see it on the show. You don't need to always have something that draws our eye to that. So I don't mind it with this because of the black and white. And then she did the more, glam makeup to tie it in. And the earring works because it's a simple, chandelier. It's not too much. She went with a nude lip to tie in the fact that she's wearing a sheer, very clean, bralette situation. And it's not too much. So I would give her a pass.
There you go. Yeah, no, I think she looks good. She caught my attention. I was like, wow, who is that? The eyes are a little dark for me.
I think she went for a little bit more of a glam eye, but
Now, there's a throwback to, we'll say, old Hollywood. Joan Collins is the next person that I wanted to get your take on, your fashion take. Now, Joan, she's an older woman. She's appearing in American Horror Story. She's truly, a classic. She's photographed here at the Carousel of Hope Ball at the Beverly Hilton earlier this week. Want to know what you think of. She has a big updo for a mature woman. What do you make of this look?
I saw this look. Okay, so in my opinion, here we go again with trying to match the jewelry to the dress, the whole thing. Okay, well, I will get to the hair. So I don't mind the dress, the bell sleeve and kind of the lace and the detail and everything. And listen, she's going to a very expensive event, so she wants to be glitzy and glam. I get it. I like the dress because I feel like it's very old, old Hollywood glam, and it ties into who she is in older Hollywood and this and that. But when you add this big necklace, and then you got the big studs and the red lip and the hair, it's oh my God, pick one thing. It's just all a little too much. And I don't know. I like her, but I just feel
love this.
Yeah. I just feel like this look is just, your hair is supposed to be the icing on the cake, the icing of the look. And this is just No, it's not. This is like what burns the cake. Like, it's like, I get upset because it's like when I style a client and like no shade, because I work with an amazing makeup and hairstylist, but like there are some times where I will look at pictures and I'm like, well, that was a freaking great look until I saw the hair. And like, then it gets called out. They'll be like, well, best dress, love the dress, blah, 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 blah. And then like, oh, but the hair doesn't really match the outfit. I feel like same thing here. Like, you went all good, and then you got to the hair, and it just didn't work. It just, and the necklace is a little overkill. Yeah, no, sorry.
I liked her in other looks recently, where she had like a jacket and like silver
nice
pants.
Blazer.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, a nice blazer.
Much more classic. Yes,
yeah, and it was more youthful for her. This updo look really doesn't do anything.
Her.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for her. But yeah, no, I agree. Though they said that she was quote covered in diamonds. That still doesn't mean anything to you.
Nope. I mean, listen, I love it. She's fabulous, but like, and she's totally fabulous, covered in diamonds, but like, ice yourself in diamonds the right way with the right hair.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that, yeah, I kind of almost felt like that didn't do her any favors, that look, unfortunately. Last, from Joan Collins to Black China. She's here at the BET Hip Hop Awards. And it looks like, to me, she's wearing some like Poison Ivy knockoff Wanna Look dress. It's like a nude illusion with like leaves on it.
I'm loving your description.
Like,
right
this
now.
is me, like, literally in layman's terms. Like, I have no idea.
Like basically Poison Ivy gone wrong.
There's like a rag. Like, I look at the bottom of that picture.
I see that. Yeah,
it's like dragging along. Like, part of the dress is literally just dragging to the streets of LA. Like, or wherever that is.
I know, wherever this is. I mean,
the first thing I see is her belly, like belly button. Not fat shaming.
No,
I'm saying the belly button.
The belly button for sure is
out.
Very out. Yes, absolutely, 100%. And also, like, you know, no shame. Like, I know she's got tattoos, but like, personally, if I was a stylist, I wouldn't have had both tattoos showing. Like, you can see, you know, the right leg, you can see the tattoo very heavily on the foot because of the slit and the fabric you're referring to dragging. And then on the left leg, because it's higher up, like on the thigh, you can very much see it. And I just kind of feel like it's just so overkill. And then the dress itself, I'm not a fan of this dress.
I don't think it's sexy, and I think she was trying to go for like a really sexy look.
She was definitely trying to go for a sexy look. I really feel like it was like, oh, I kind of wanted the inspiration of being like mermaid / Poison Ivy. And I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm being attacked by this plant.
That was really bad. Like, that's my worst dress of this list.
Yeah, definitely. Like, this is, I mean, and it, you know, it's sad. This is the opposite of what I was saying with hair and makeup. Her hair and makeup is fabulous. Like, she looks young and youthful and bronze and glowy, and it's like, cut her off at the head, because then the rest is terrible.
So, Ali, who gets worst look out of this list?
I mean, the non-Poison Ivy chic.
Black China.
Black China.
So this is Black China. She, I guess she blew off the slut walk to go do this. And for those who are like, what the hell is it you're talking about? It's like a real thing. Amber Rose has a slut walk that happens here in LA. And this one over here, Black China, said she wants to go to BET Awards. So that's what she was doing when she was looking like this. But, you know, our very own Ali Levine was present at the slut walk.
I was. It was a very cool, very interesting day. I actually haven't gotten to attend one yet. Last year, I was not able to. So I was very excited to be invited back again by Amber Rose and her team. And I love that Amber Rose rocked a wedding dress. That was pretty fabulous. You know, I think it's great that especially in Los Angeles, that women can really show, and men, to be honest, were there too, showing about women empowerment and showing how important that is. And what I loved about the whole event was that it was focused on the positive of what this brings for women empowerment. And I wouldn't say, and I know I'm probably going to get some shade and hate for this, but I wouldn't say I'm a feminist, because I really do view the men in my life equal. I know not all men in our country look at us as equal, but the men in my life and the men that I'm friends with and I'm married to and I'm surrounded by, I thankfully know they view me as equal, and I view them as equal. And I brought my baby girl because I wanted her to know one day when she sees her Getty image that you were there to make a difference, and you were there because mom is teaching you that women empowerment is important. And, it is important for all of us to be viewed as equals. And it is a time now for things to change, for people to see that don't see that women really, have always been that equal. But because, of course, old school, when, women used to just be home and things were different. And that was different because society was different. But times have changed and people need to change. And people need to realize that, it's not necessarily our time, but it's time to know that women can do it all as well. And, it's really important that women are treated as respectfully as men and vice versa. And that's what I like to see when I was there yesterday. The men that were there were treating women correctly and the women were treating men correctly. And to me, that warmed my heart because I feel like that's the environment I want my daughter to be brought up into.
Why is it called slut walk? Where does that come from?
So, from what I've understood of Amber Rose and everything is, the slut walk, it's she calls all the women sluts because it's kind of her way of, pushing that whole empowerment thing. It's because some men do think that maybe the way you dress or something that you do says yes when it doesn't. It's relating to the fact that so in your mind, you think I'm a slut, but I'm not. So it's everyone's there at the slut walk supporting this because essentially we're the opposite of that. We are not the sluts. We are not, we
you
are
can
not.
still look sexy and live the life that you want and present yourself the same way. And it doesn't mean yes to men.
It doesn't mean yes to men. It means change the conversation. It means just because you see someone maybe wearing a higher heel than what they'd normally wear somewhere, or they're wearing something that has a little bit more cleavage showing, it doesn't mean, hey, I would like you to come on to me. I will say that I felt some people took it to too extreme, which happens in LA all the time.
I'm not surprised. I'm really not.
Yeah. And there were some women, and it honestly was a little disappointing for me because I was so excited and empowered to be there. Some people took it to the extreme with really provocative terms written on them. I said to my husband when I got home, I was like, if Amelia had been able to read, my daughter, I would have been upset for her to read some of those things that were written on some of their bodies. And I don't even know what my response would have been.
Yeah. Too much. It's just
exactly.
It could have been something nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. But some people that were there, they really had good things to say on the carpet. There were some really great interviews about, voting, no matter what way you're going to vote, how important it is, how the culture needs to change about that, and people can't just sit home. And, all those conversations were great to have, and they support, HIV testing and, all these sexual education. And that was fantastic. And I think all of that is so important, as especially sexual harassment. But I just felt like some people took it too far.
Well, let's change gears entirely. I want to talk about you, and I want to know more about being a celebrity stylist. How does one get approached and hired to be one? And where do you start? Is it a long game?
Oh my God, it's such a long game.
I imagine. What isn't?
Right? Yeah. What isn't a long game? For those that, I hate to say it, but for those that look at social media, even with you and think, oh my God, they must have just done that yesterday. It's no, you have no idea how long this game has been. It's forever ongoing game.
Yeah.
So that being said, without giving a long spiel, but I am from New York. I moved out to Los Angeles 8.5 years ago now, which is crazy to me. I said I would be here for a year. Here I am. I worked in production and worked as a costume production assistant when I worked on Wall Street Money Never Sleeps for Oliver Stone's movie and his team. And I learned from him just doing script breakdowns and being on set and learning production. And he moved me over to the costume department. I started working with the famous costume designer Ellen Morajnik, who works for Michael Douglas and, Carey Mulligan and all these major names. She's got huge awards this past year and many other years. And she was my mentor. I ran around with her and just basically did whatever she needed. Feed the cat, go to her house, pack her bags for LA. Literally Devil Wears Prada kind of shit. And from there, I started getting sent on different jobs for MTV, and I worked with Newlyweds for Jessica Lachey and Nick when they used to be, an item and everything. And I worked on a lot of shows just kind of as a gopher, donuts, coffee, anything in between.
A lot of very unglamorous work.
Yes, extremely unglamorous
and work like that shakes a lot of people off. People are
totally.
You know what? I don't want to do this.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I deal with that with a new intern every week.
Yeah.
They're like, this is a lot of work. I'm like, yes. Yes, welcome to it. Yeah, you have no idea.
But you didn't shy away from any of it, though.
No,
you did it all.
Honestly, it made me more motivated to like want to keep going because I was like, okay, well, this is the surface. So like, what's next? Like, it can't all just be this. There has to be something else. So then once I finally got past that, then it was like, okay, now you run errands. So you're still the gopher, but like now you're going to go actually return clothing and you're going to go like do our, dirty work for now the department. But hey, now I'm actually in the department and I'm learning and I'm seeing what the returns are like and why that's important. I'm meeting these designers and these contacts while I'm out dropping things off. And I started absorbing it and seeing like, okay, there's such a big picture here. There's a reason why all these tedious jobs exist because it's all part of this big picture of what happens. And I started getting really enticed and passionate by that. And after I think people saw my work ethic and I kept working and working and moving around, I finally got asked to go to Atlanta and work on Big Mama's house. And I worked with Martin Lawrence and his team. That was insane. Cool. 115 degrees in Atlanta in a fat suit. And I'm literally, one of my jobs is like airing out his fat suit. Ugh. I still can smell the sweat. No offense, Martin Lawrence.
Wow.
And he was fantastic. But I mean, oh my God.
That was your job.
That was my job. I was like, hey, oh my God. But, it was cool because at the same time, when I wasn't doing that, they let me go help and shop for things that he would wear that when he wasn't in the fat suit or other actors. And I had never gotten to be a part of that before. So then I started seeing, oh, this is shopping. This is sourcing. This is a different realm of what I'm doing. I like this. This is creative. And styling really wasn't a thing then. Like Rachel Zoe didn't have her show. People didn't talk about stylists back then. So I'm aging myself, but they didn't. So I didn't even know what a stylist was. I just knew costume designers. And I knew I wasn't in love with costume. I could do it, but it wasn't passionate to me. So I started asking the team there, like, hey, how can I become like a shopper, I guess, and do what I did today and I did this week and I've done these jobs. And they were like, well, you should go to LA. You should get in the union. You can, get in and become a shopper. And
easier said than done to get into the union.
Way easier said than done. And I, of course, was like, young and naive. I'm like, okay, I'll move to LA and packed my bags, moved to Los Angeles like 6 months later after we wrapped, lived in West Hollywood, like right on the Larrabee and, Doheny area in the hot spot. And, just started working for a costume house so that I could get my hours to be in the union. And I worked for the costume house, and I also worked for the same costume designers who I was referencing, Leah Ketch-Nelson and Amanda Riley, who work on like 21 Jump Street and all these other big, big movies. And I started working with them on projects in the costume house. I worked with Colleen Atwood, who's hugely famous for Snow White and all these other projects. And I just started making connections and working with all these incredible people who were willing to give me opportunities to work for them. And I just kept hustling and hustling. And then after a few more, jobs, I realized I love this, but I don't really love costume or any of this world. What am I going to do? And that's when styling was kind of starting to become hot. You were starting to hear about stylists and best dressed and projects. And so I just started applying blindly to all these different stylists. So I went back to interning, which was so not glamorous because I finally was making money. It finally was like in the union. Then it was like, psych. Yeah. You don't like this, so
start over,
rewind.
That's hard.
Oh, it was so hard. It was. Yeah. I was bawling. I remember my husband being. He was my boyfriend at the time, and him being like, "Oh my God, we moved here for what?" Like, I was just bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
But I started. Then I interned for Monica Rose, the old amazing stylist for the Kardashians, before they booted her out. I a little inside tea. I worked for Kanye West team and his stylist. I worked for Emma Stone's stylist. I mean, I worked for so many amazing stylists that I finally started to get my own groove and figure out, okay, this is what I love. This is what I want to do. It's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot more assisting, but like, this is what I want to do. And I started telling stylists that I was working for, hey, I really want to be a stylist one day. I know, obviously, it's not going to happen overnight, but like, what did you do to transition from assisting to being your own stylist? And a lot of them said to me, I started doing a lot of styling on the side for free while I was assisting.
You have to create your own opportunity.
Yep. And that's what I did. I started going to event after event and project after project and just offering when I wasn't working, making money. Hey, I can do this one-off with you as long as I think it was only Twitter at that time. So as long as you'll tweet me and tag me. Yeah, Instagram wasn't really big at that point. So tweet me and tag me, write up a little reference for me so I have it for my next client and, pay for the rental or the dry cleaning or whatever it is. So I'm not out of pocket, but I'm not going to, have you pay me because this is a new, venue for me. This is a new avenue. And, and I say that lightly because a lot of people think then that they should style for 5 years for free. And that's why everyone gets ripped off in this town. And so like, don't do the work for free for a long time, but like, know that you have to also put in your dues and you have to prove yourself and you have to show, that you really are able to do that job. And I did. I worked with so many celebrities. I also did it the right way. I went to a lot of managers. I went to a lot of agencies like, WME and CAA and said, this is who I work for. I am starting to do stuff on my own. I would love to work with any of your clients when they have a photo shoot, when they have this project. And I started getting calls because they knew I was free labor, So, but I got to build those relationships and I got to have those recommendations from those real places that were credentialed. And eventually that turned into then me getting a few of my first own, D-list, C-list celebrities who some of them like became a thing. Like I was styling Rachel Riley and that was when she was starting to blow up in Big Brother and she's still a friend to this day and she's amazing. But like, I would have never known that would have happened, and she was one of the first people to put me on the map because her wedding was on WeTV with David Tutera and I was helping with that. It was like, you just don't know. Like the cool thing about LA, and other places, but LA especially is like, you really, and Grant, you're a huge testament to this. It's like, you really go for your dreams and you have to really work for them. But like, you can get opportunities in places, but you have to really be willing to hustle and work hard. Yeah. And that's what happened for me. And then I just kind of kept building. And then I got best dressed on different lists. And it was like, okay, now Ali Levine Design is born. And I started styling.
Yeah, that is a long game. That is a long game.
On.
That is a long game. You definitely could.
Wow. It's a hard game. Anything in life obviously is hard, but I think our entertainment industry is very hard and very grueling, and a lot of it is a very long game.
Yeah, like you mentioned too, like you can be suckered into doing things for free.
Yes.
And, everyone I know is underpaid in this business.
Absolutely.
And, everyone's trying to get something for nothing. And especially when you're like for hire, like you are, people must play games.
Oh, all the time.
Have to
even
be
to this
so
day.
strong.
Like you have to be so strong. You have to know your worth and know your boundaries. I even got phone calls, I won't mention who, but from celebrities for the Emmys who tried to lowball me beyond that. I was just like, you know what? I'm not styling for the Emmys this year. I'll do parties. I'm not doing that because I'm literally going to come out of pocket. I also have a new baby I have to like worry about and book a nanny. Like it's just crazy how much, like you said, they'll underpay and they'll try to play around with you. And you're just like, no, this is my livelihood.
So it's all games.
It is all games.
So frustrating.
It is. And it's like, so that being said, for anyone listening, absolutely do what you need to do in the beginning to get your mark out there and, pay it back and everything. But then once you get to a certain level, no more free. Because that's where I feel like it's hurting in the industry in general. People just keep offering free services or super cheap. And it's like, no, you're undercutting all of us. Like all of us, we're all suffering because you chose to give so-and-so a break,
Yeah. And then you look like you're overcharging.
Absolutely.
When you're charging an appropriate amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. That's so this business. That's so insider.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it's very
really,
insider.
It's really what it is.
It's really not
true.
as glamorous. I always joke with people like when interns work for me and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited." And I'm like, "Okay, well, don't be because it's 95% work and 5% glam."
Well, in the middle of all this, you let me know that you put out jewelry over at Nordstrom. So how are you doing this? I looked it up. They're beautiful. Thank you. They're in person.
I'm wearing some in person for you.
Chokers and a layered necklace.
Yes. Yep.
And so I found it. It's online. You can find it on Nordstrom.com, kids. And, tell me about that process.
Yeah. So that was a very exciting venture for me and still ongoing. So basically, again, with building yourself and building your own brand and everything, I became friends with the CEO of Sterling Forever, which is the company that helped create the Hearts on Fire jewelry line with Nordstrom. And we worked together in the beginning when their company was kind of just getting started and they were looking for fashion influencers. They were looking for stylists to help them in exchange as a trade to give me product to get me to style people in it so they could get those mentions in press and everything else. So I love the jewelry.
Smart.
Yep. I love the jewelry. I liked that it was affordably chic and it really vibed with me. And so I started wearing it because I actually genuinely liked it. And then people started asking me what it was. So I started telling people and then I started styling some of my celebrity clients in it. All of a sudden, red carpets, television. They were on Vanderpump Rules, they were on Housewives. All of a sudden, they started getting momentum, from me and other people that were working with their brand and getting the name out there. And because I became so close with the CEO and the publicist and that team, and they're just such good people, they eventually said to me, well, what else do you want to do with us besides, just styling and this and that? Do you have other goals? Are there other things you'd like to do with our company? And, sometimes you just have to ask for your dream opportunities. And I said, I would love one day to design a line with you guys, even if it was just a collaboration, because long story short, before I got into styling, I worked in corporate and I did product development and jewelry design and handbag design in New York City. So I had that background.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I wanted to get back into it, but I didn't know how, or I didn't want to go back to corporate. And so he was like, all right, well, if you can design it, I will do a collaboration with you that's with Sterling Forever, and we will sell it on sterlingforever.com. So we did the collaboration. I designed it while I was pregnant. I found out I was pregnant with a girl, and that's why it has the pink opals. And I needed Hearts on Fire because when I was going through my pregnancy and all the opportunities that were happening with Bravo Strip and all these things, I just felt like my heart was on fire. There was so much happening. So it just felt like the perfect name for the collection. And I want anyone else that wears it to feel like, their heart's on fire and there's something being ignited in them and something happening for them. And Nordstrom just kind of happened. I'm so grateful, but it just kind of happened. Sterling Forever was approached by Nordstrom about a bunch of different lines that they wanted to carry, and mine happened to be one of them. Wow. And it just kind of worked out, and so we're still selling, and we're still on Nordstrom.com.
You're a lucky girl. You had a lot of success. Good for you.
Thank you. Well, same with you. It's like a lot of hard work, a lot of persistence, a lot of don't take no. Luck starts to pay off and finally starting to move.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that. I know. It gives a lot of people hope.
Game. Listen, I will be really honest with your listeners. I have cried so many days and nights over this industry being like, why am I in it? What am I doing? I'm not making enough money. I'm this. I'd be doing that. And it's like, sometimes your passions do that to you. Sometimes your dreams, I feel like sometimes the universe tests you to say, how bad do you want it? And there's days where I feel like I'm knocked down and I can't get back up. And then there's some days where it's like, today, I'm grateful to be here on your podcast and talk about the things I'm doing. And it almost reminds me, like, keep going, Yeah. So it's hard.
That's my mantra. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Even I say it to myself out loud.
You have
in
to.
This apartment, like
yes,
at night where I'm
do.
like, just keep
going. Yeah. Keep the motion,
Yeah. Well, where can we find more about Hearts on Fire and all of your work? How can people find more about Ali Levine Design Firm?
Yeah.
Where can we go?
Okay, so you can go to alilevine.com for my website. If you want to read my blog, see my fashion tips, all that good stuff. If you ever want to be featured for a Friday Fashionista or Friday Fashionisto, you can email me at Ali at alilevinedesign.com, and I will look at your submissions. I love to post people from all over. I started doing that like the last year, and I have so much fun just showing off different people that follow me or, check out my fashion or want to show off their fashion. And you can go to alilevinestyling.com to book me for any type of remote styling or in person. And you can find, like you said, Hearts on Fire on Nordstrom's site if you just search Hearts on Fire, or if you go to sterlingforever.com, you can see the entire collection that's sold there as well. And you can find me on social media at Ali Levine Design.
Perfect. Thank you, Ali. This is fun. Thank you for the chat.
You're welcome.
I hope everyone is a little inspired by this. Normally at this point in the show, I tell people, subscribe or, leave a comment and a review. But I've gotten so many reviews recently when I've been asking people to do it. I'm thankful for that. And I thank everybody that's done that. And so many times I say, like, do this and do that.
Yeah.
But this time I'm just going to say thank you to those that have already done that. Because a lot of you have, and I notice it, and I thank you. Keep it here on the Rants.
Way.
Yeah. I love you for listening. We'll be back with more Rants. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.
This has been Grant's Rants. Support the Rants on Patreon at patreon.com/Grant's Rants. Follow Grant on Twitter and Instagram at It's Grant's Rants. Cover art created by Howie Rone. Voiceover by Original theme music by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.